You're watching Sappa TV, television made by me, Nymar the Uncharitable.
Ask Nymar is brought to you by the Portuguese Awareness Committee, inviting you to Explortical, and by Vecturnic Laboratories, makers of Bladaxor. Avoid turning clockwise for 4 hours after taking Bladaxor. Do not take Bladaxor if you are allergic to arsenic. Bladaxor may cause bruising. Talk to your doctor if you are an apple.
People of Earth! It is now summer in the Northern Hemisphere, and the time has come for your state-mandated vacations. All of you are commanded to leave your desks and or minds this Friday with high hopes for a week of fun in the sun in one of the approved zones of relaxation. You are allowed up to one whimsical misadventure each. Those of you allowed to leave Earth will have your choice of planets and moons from the solar system to vacation on. No vacationing outside the solar system is currently allowed for residents of Earth. I don't want any of you filthy people spreading ferns to my perfectly good extraplanetary systems. Law-abiding citizens should continue to report rogue ferns while on vacation. Those of you restricted from leaving Earth, and I'm watching you, have your choice of Earth destinations for which I have collected promotional films. Please be sure to fill out your chosen destination on the pink index cards you've all received in the mail. Cards must be returned no later than 5 p.m. Thursday so as to make sure my secret police send you to the right planets. We will now begin the showing of the promotional Earth films. Please keep your destination in mind as they may fill up fast.
At the Clock of the Nations in Midtown Plaza, Rochester, New York, where each passing hour is gaily saluted in the carnival spirit that is universal with people everywhere. And I'll acquaint you with... There are many ingredients, of course, some sheer delight, like the electronically controlled marionettes of our fabled timepiece. Each passing hour, they dance around the clock to the bright tunes of different countries around the world. Is at our doorstep, so to speak, since the construction of the St. Lawrence Seaway. The Great Lakes have become the fourth seacoast for the United States, and Rochester, its westernmost port on Lake Ontario. The Genesee River, with headwaters in the Appalachian ridges of Pennsylvania, and one of the few rivers in North America flowing north, passes right through the heart of the city. Surrounding Monroe County, and the other counties up the Genesee Valley constitute a natural economic area, with Rochester as the focal point. Genesee is an Indian word meaning beautiful valley, and still today, no description more aptly fits this area of the world. Beautiful, just simply beautiful valley, as if no adjectives in any language, Iroquois or otherwise, could compete with what nature has wrought here. The river twists tortuously at the Letchworth Gorge, as if fighting its way north, and there are legends at every turn. Every clump of rocks has its myths from Indian times. Some fanciful giant is heralded as creating the Finger Lakes with the dredging fingers of his right hand, An artist's hand, surely. And such haunting names the Indians gave them. Skineatelis, Owasco, Cayuga, Seneca, Keuka. To know that the artist giant was actually the glacier doesn't destroy the wonder of them in the least. Canandaigua, Honeoye, Canadice, Hemlock, Kinesis. Certainly the work of an artist glacier in any case. Also a bountiful glacier, for the slopes here are rich with the soil it deposited, rich and carefully tended. Here are the Bristol Hills, the famous wine country of western New York. Grapes in gorgeous profusion. Apples. You haven't lived, friend, until you've sunk your teeth into the splendor of a western New York apple. The good land attracted the first settlers here little more than 150 years ago. Still today, you will find freestanding homesteads, cherished from generation to generation. The cobblestone construction is characteristic. Cobblestone carted up the valley from Lake Ontario to build to last. Farms in the area are completely electrified now, of course, and as modern in all the conveniences of good living as the methods of farming the surrounding acreage. Signs of the past, historical markers in the towns and villages of the valley give further evidence of the building fervor in the early days of settlement. Early 19th century inns, remodeled to fit today's requirements, still attract the customers. Old landmarks adapted to modern business ventures, and charmingly so. There's a gentle respect, place after place, for the architectural heritage of the valley, a tender reverence for previous periods, the same as that afforded the sheltering shade trees. People here have made peace with the past, the same as they have with the natural setting of this area of the world. Old mansions are now museums. But don't let such historical preservation beguile you. People here can be tough, too. They can be tough with a tree when surgery is necessary. They can be tough with a tree. They can be tough with a house. They can be tough with a city when surgery is necessary. Tough, yet tender at the same time, in the manner of skilled professionals. Have you ever heard of Genesee fever? Historically, it was probably some kind of rash encountered by Colonel Nathaniel Rochester when he decided to utilize the water power of the Genesee Falls and build a settlement here. Today, Genesee fever best describes the rash of activity that has continued in this area of the world from the frontier forward. There has never been any nonsense about the purpose of the city or the 9 counties of the Rochester economic area. Quite simply, it is considered a place to make a profit as pleasantly as possible. The community is fully aware of the financial facts of life and the methods of making an economic area prosperous. Oh, I had a mule. Her name was Sal, 20 years on the Erie Canal. That much-chanted and tall-tailed waterway was pronounced Erie back in the 1820s, when it was the main trade and travel artery in America. Today, it provides recreational facilities, fishing and boating, as well as many a pleasant picnic area for family outings. The present barge canal carries cargoes of grain and petroleum, slow freight, and is still serving in America's network of inland waterways. Rochester was one of the first boom towns in America. What the Erie started, the railroads continued. Faster freight and passenger service. Bonanza business right in the heart of Rochester. What the railroads continued, the automobile climaxed. Today, a portion of the old Erie forms a sentimental segment in the complex of arterial highways and expressways that link the heart of the city to the New York State segment of the Transcontinental Thruway. Tough yet gentle surgery for the old Erie. The important thing, of course, is that the heart of the city has a booming beat, stronger than ever before. Times change, and you either change your city to fit them, or they'll change your city, often unpleasantly, more often unprofitably. Rochester has made its peace with the automobile. Is it practical to do otherwise? Does it make any civic sense whatsoever to cuss the tyranny of wheels and the insolent chariots, instead of getting together to plan a workable solution for traffic congestion? 20th century America is geared to the automobile, and thus is Rochester geared. Traffic flows here, flows faster all the time, because of community planning for the years ahead. Coincidentally, there is one of the best traffic safety records here of any city in the country. Believe me, friend, if you're driving more these days and enjoying it less, come to Rochester. Here, driving is the positive pleasure it ought to be everywhere. What's more, there's plenty of convenient parking space, thanks to more community planning for the years ahead, and the building of self-liquidating municipal parking units. Rochester Monroe County Airport is only 10 minutes from downtown. When these pictures were taken, the runways were being extended to accommodate jet flights. Change, not only to keep abreast of the times, but to keep ahead of the times, using every possible facility for moving people and products. Yes, Rochester is on the move, with every means of travel and transportation. Genesee fever in the airborne age. Flying out of Rochester, you get a pleasant view of the Barge Canal where it crosses the Genesee. Did you ever see a city so green and growing? Green and growing right into the downtown area. That is the inner loop, channeling traffic to the central core of the city. That is the outer loop, circling the city, channeling traffic to the surrounding suburbs and industrial parks. Starting practically from scratch with the advent of the St. Lawrence Seaway, Rochester has made significant strides in attracting commercial cargo. What's being loaded or unloaded today? Clean cargo, certainly. Cargo compatible with the community. Mobile cranes move goods from ship to shore. Forklift trucks transfer merchandise from the warehouse or the dockside storage space, from freighter to fast truck. Rochester is the economy port of the Great Lakes, where the Seaway meets the Thruway. It is within a 350-mile radius of the greatest consumer and industrial goods market in the world. An arc including Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Detroit. Yes, indeed, old Colonel Nathaniel Rochester certainly picked an ideal location for a city. He really started something. Industries have developed here that have made the name Rochester synonymous with quality and precision manufacturing. A veritable who's who in American business. Industrial pioneers such as George Eastman, Edward Bausch, and Henry Long founded local concerns whose diversified products are now bought and sold everywhere. A tradition of fine craftsmanship developed here, attracting quality industries and quality people alike. Skilled industries, skilled people. Clean industries, clean people. Stable industries, stable people. Diversified products, not only those in present production, but those in the dream stage, those still swirling around ground in some inventive mind, demand an educated workforce, adaptable, swift to understand change and technological improvement. Change is necessary to keep competitive in industries as well as cities. If you don't change, change will change you. Technological lag is tantamount to slow death. Rochester recognized this fact years ago and developed a program of training and retraining the workforce. And again, not only to keep the workforce abreast of the times, but to keep it ahead of the times. There is a positive passion in people here for going to school, an incredibly contagious fervor, almost furor, to learn more than they know about everything possible. Genesee fever again. There is a profusion of educational facilities, graduate as well as undergraduate, developing diversified talents necessary to attract and hold diversified industries. Many of these institutions are generously endowed from the profits of local enterprise. Rochester's colleges attract people from all over the country, and they generally stay here. Industries, too. When you come right down to it, what brings a prospective industry to a prospective location? More than anything else, it is an enlightened workforce. In this respect, Rochester is second to none, for clean industries, that is, for industries requiring a high percentage of professional, technical, skilled, and semi-skilled personnel. Naturally, a prospective industry will have other requirements. Sites zoned for industry? Rochester has them. Industrial parks circling the city, and right in the downtown area. Urban renewal and redevelopment at its best. Replacing the old with the new, within view of the heart of the city. Coordinated fire protection throughout Rochester and Monroe County is rated the third best in the United States. There is an abundance of water, controlled abundance, from the upland lakes and Lake Ontario. A safe daily yield of 200 million gallons, with the Great Lakes as unlimited reservoir for any future demands. Utilities? Well, Rochester Gas and Electric Company, for one, is renowned for the quality of its services. In addition to gas and electricity, it supplies steam to the downtown area and to many other commercial and industrial customers. Active since 1952 with other companies engaged in nuclear research, RG&E will be ready with the know-how and the resources when economical atomic power can be applied to industrial and consumer advantage throughout the area. Industries, of course, are citizens of the community, the same as individuals. And here, both are expected to be good citizens, respecting the natural beauty of the Genesee setting, and what's more, enhancing it. Is there any earthly reason for permanent scarring of the landscape? Any conceivable reason for ugly smoke belching into the sky? In Rochester, parks are parks, industrial or otherwise. There's a tradition of greenery, sunlight, fresh air, and the sheer joy of open space. Flowers. The flowers, friend, are phenomenal in Rochester. And I'm not just talking about the world's celebrated Lilac Festival each spring. I'm talking about the community compulsion to plant wherever there's a square foot of sod that can stand brightening. Truly, the entire population seems born with or converted to the green thumb. Public gardens galore, and private gardens galore, hillside patches, lyrical and lovely. Flowers. 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 People here put down roots too. So it is no surprising statistic that 70% of the occupied dwelling units in the Rochester area are owner-occupied. A family city is Rochester. Doing things together is the order of the day. All in all, there are upwards of 300,000 people in the city proper. Upwards of 300,000 people in Monroe County. Upwards of 350,000 people in the other 8 counties of the Rochester economic area. Nearly 1 million population in nearly 5,000 square miles of land allows plenty of space to grow and grow healthily. For people living elsewhere, it is surprising perhaps that Rochester has what Leopold Stokowski called one of the finest orchestras in the world. It is not the least bit surprising, of course, to the people living here. They like good music, and they support good music in the same manner and the same spirit that they achieve other community advantages. They get together a committee of conscientious citizens and raise the funds by popular subscription. Industries, as well as individuals, get behind the program and push, with the result that the cash, as well as the checks, comes rolling into the good cause. The same persuasive pattern exists, whatever the community project. It may be the building fund for a new church, or the building fund for a new school. Recently, the entire community joined in the drive for a new parochial school. Protestants, Catholics, Jews alike felt that school was a community cause. People here live and work in splendid harmony and respect. Small wonder Rochester received the World Brotherhood Award. Small wonder, too, the term community chest was coined in Rochester, and that each year it exceeds its goal. Throughout the world, of course, Rochester is famed as a medical center. Hospitals, research laboratories, most of them supported by private funds, have pioneered many of the medical miracles of our time. Health insurance for an already healthy community, and wonderfully reassuring to the senior citizens. Most of them stay here in their declining years. They love it here. They find plenty of satisfying activity to occupy their retirement, so it doesn't make much sense to them traipsing off someplace else. If necessary, of course, Rochester looks out for them. And here is a surprising statistic, at least in terms of other cities. In Rochester, only 50% of the cost of welfare is derived from tax money. The remaining 50% comes from voluntary contributions and other private funds. Conscientious citizens naturally produce conscientious government. The words of Jonathan Child, first mayor of Rochester, still echo sensibly in local ears. In the intercourse of social life, and on all occasions involving the interests of our young city, let us forget our politics and our party and seek only the public good. Such philosophy has produced enlightened government, working with enlightened commerce. In other words, public funds are used to spark and to supplement private enterprise. Such action has revitalized the heart of the city, more specifically, downtown Rochester. As in most American cities, the tendency here in recent years was a withdrawal from the central core to the surrounding suburbs. People first, then business, headed for the open spaces. Rochester didn't fight the suburbs or the shopping centers rising to meet suburban needs. It simply capitalized on the things people like about shopping centers. Wide varieties of merchandise, the fun of meeting people, and above all, in this day and age, a place to park. Having made its peace with the automobile, Rochester was in a position to bring the suburbs downtown to the central core of the city. It can pack the Eastman Theater for a Broadway roadshow or musical festival. It can pack the War Memorial Auditorium for a hockey game or an international trade convention. Rochester-Monroe County Civic Center pulls together as many functions of city, county, state, and national government as possible into one location, with easy access, of course, and plenty of parking space. Having made its peace with the past, Rochester can rip out and rearrange streets and sections of that central core to its heart's content. Here's another section that will feel the impact of the bulldozer. Surgery, tough yet tender. For Front Street in the future will be known as Genesee Crossroads, a complex of hotels and apartments, shops and offices, parks and promenades. Likewise, in the future, is the towering world headquarters for Xerox. Sidewalk engineers have a field day in downtown Rochester. That central core changes fast and furious, but not fast enough or furious enough for some of them. That Genesee fever still. It was at an all-time high during the construction of Midtown Plaza, 10 acres of renewal. And that hole in the ground seemed to stay there forever. Actually, that hole was the makings of a 3-level, 2,000-car underground municipal parking garage. The city solved the traffic problem, and from there on, private enterprise took over. Up, up, up the girders went. The framework for a new 18-story office building and hotel. The framework for a new retail complex centered about a new roofed, air-conditioned marketplace, the size of a football field. Total time from the signing of the contracts to opening day celebration, 38 months. Total cost, $25 million of private investment. A beautiful dream, yes. A magnificent merchandising idea. But $25 million. Why would investors put up that kind of money for something like this in a city this size? Bankers here are clear-eyed and practical, the same as bankers elsewhere, possibly more so. Why, oh why would financial genius go for sidewalk restaurants, benches, fountains, trees, flowers? They know the people of Rochester. That's why. Quality people in quality jobs, earning quality incomes, buy quality merchandise. The stability of the workforce in Rochester makes for stability of investment in Rochester. Midtown Plaza is simply the most dramatic ingredient of the Rochester recipe for good living. There are thousands more, maybe not so fancy, but certainly just as important as the song and dance of our fabled timepiece. In Rochester, even these marionettes have Genesee fever. They perform every hour on the half hour, too, in the carnival spirit that is the timeless magic of the marketplace since cities began. A delight to the children, an intriguing interlude to shoppers and visitors from all over the world.
Yes, Rochester, New York sure is a place. Time for the news. The price of happiness is up 5 cents to rest at 104. Ennui is trading lower at 34 cents. Confusion is flat at $6. The sun vanished for 6 minutes earlier today, but came back later, so everything is fine. The rebellion in the Omega sector has been crushed.
Why wait? Use your golden touch. Use it to see the Americas on Westinghouse Traveler's Choice 66 trip program. Use it to touch us for a glorious 4-day touchdown holiday. 4 days and 3 nights of pure fun and relaxation. Choose for yourself among the most glamorous cities in America. Stay at the newest and the most deluxe hotels in these cities. Eat at fabulous gourmet restaurants. Frolic at top nightclubs. And on top of all this, see one of the biggest and best football games of the year, such as these top pro events. The Cleveland Browns and New York Giants, the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears, the LA Rams and San Francisco 49ers. Which game do you want to see? Wherever you choose to go, and the choice is yours from any city on the Westinghouse Touchdown Holidays list, you'll be treated to sights, sounds, shows, cocktail receptions, banquets, dances, all on Westinghouse. So get in touch, your golden touch, with a Westinghouse Touchdown Holiday. You say that's not enough? You'd like to go higher? Well, how about this? And hang on to your hat. Welcome to Puerto Rico. You'll be whisked off to the luxurious Caribe Hilton, to your own private room, with its own private balcony overlooking the sea. You'll enjoy 5 wonderful days and 4 unforgettable nights in the fun capital of the Caribbean. Nightclub parties, native barbecues, banquets, cocktail receptions, all arranged for your fun and enjoyment by Westinghouse. You'll have plenty of leisure time for visiting historical sites, marveling at natural wonders, for deep-sea fishing, golf, tennis, swimming, or for just sitting around doing a lot of nothing, relaxing and enjoying the sights. 5 glorious days, 4 unforgettable nights, all yours. You say that's not quite enough? You'd like to try something a little more, well, extensive, shall we say? Okay, try this on for size. Not 1 country, but 2. Not 2 fabulous cities, but 3. 9 days and 8 full nights of the time of your life. In Rio de Janeiro, Brasilia, Caracas, Venezuela. In Rio, you'll stay at the famous Copacabana Palace. You'll ascend famed Sugarloaf by cable car. You'll visit Corcovado and the rainforests of Tijuca. You'll enjoy fine restaurants, spectacular entertainment, and a festive traditional churrascaria barbecue. On the 6th day, you'll see Brasilia, the largest completely pre-planned city in history, the most ultra-modern seat of government in the world. You'll go across the towering Andes to Macuto by the sea, a veritable marble palace on the shores of Venezuela. Then on to Caracas for a day of breathtaking sights and gracious hospitality. Then back to Macuto by the sea for a last round of banqueting and fun. 9 days and 8 nights of continuous fun. So where do you want to reach with your golden touch? Touchdown holidays? Puerto Rican holidays? South American holidays? You pick, you choose, you decide. Just use your golden touch to see the Americas on Westinghouse Traveler's Choice 66.
And now it's time for the official guide to visiting other planets in the solar system. Blinky, please activate PowerPoint.
First up, we have Mercury. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun. Pros: free public Wi-Fi. Mercury will accept competitors' coupons from any other planet or planet-esque object. And of course, on Mercury, you can fill your own thermometer with mercury. However, there are cons. There is only one day every 2 years on Mercury. Mercury has no atmosphere, so be sure to bring some with you. And of course, Mercury is toxic to humans. It builds up in the brain, so I guess wear gloves while on Mercury. Next up, we have Venus, the second planet from the Sun. Venus's pros include that it has a very dense atmosphere, which equals privacy for those of you who like to just get away from it all. Venus has acid rain, which will cleanse your pores. And it's probably lovely down there. I mean, honestly, I can't tell from here, but this picture certainly makes it look okay. I mean, I guess if I could squint, maybe I could see through the clouds, but I have more important things to do with my time. However, you should all know that the average surface temperature on Venus is 863 degrees Fahrenheit. There is no water, and Mercury is also the gulag for people who have crossed me, so you may run into some political prisoners down there. You are advised to avoid eye contact with them. They include Walter Mondale, Liz Phair, and Chef Boyardee. Next we have Earth, but Earth is just overrun with ferns, and I can't go down there, so as far as I'm concerned, it's uninhabitable and not worthy of your time. If you're already there, you know, that's tough for you. Glad I don't have to deal with that stuff. Next we have Mars. Mars is habitable-ish. It's got an Earth-like day. It's just a little bit longer. It's got an Earth-like year. It's just a little bit longer. It's got Earth-like gravity, except it's a fair bit lighter. And it's an Earth-like temperature if your experience on Earth is living in Antarctica. As everyone knows, Mars is home to Matt Damon. He loves it there. You might run into him. Be respectful if you run into Matt Damon on Mars. You know, he needs his personal space just as much as you need yours. And Mars' heavy corrugated surface made up of craters and extinct volcanoes is really just the best for skateboarding. Ask Tony Hawk. I think he hangs out with Matt Damon. Cons. Honestly, Mars is more orange than red. You may be disappointed if you're going there looking for a really, really red planet. You may want to hold out until we find one. Otherwise, just use like a filter on your photographs and no one will know the difference. Mars has been subject to many, many space expeditions over the years, and so there are just rovers all over the place down there from the various American, European, and Soviet space organizations. You may have to like kick a couple out of the way in order to really get a good skateboard line lined up. And also, Mars has frequent dust storms, so just a heads up on that. Mars is not a hypoallergenic planet. Don't want any more angry letters on that front. Silence! And lastly, for the inner solar system, we have Ceres. Ceres is the largest asteroid in the asteroid belt. As you can see, it's pulled itself into, you know, a roughly circular-ish shape. Ceres offers planet conditions without planet price if you're vacationing on a budget. It's definitely very planet-like. Yeah, planet-like. Low escape velocity, not a whole lot of gravity down on Ceres, so, you know, less effort to get back. And those white spots on the surface are sodium carbonate. So if you're a sodium carbonate aficionado, you know, go down there and help yourself. I mean, there is a lot of it lying around. On the downside, though, Ceres is small and there's not a whole lot to do. It is pretty much just all craters, and if you've been to one cratered planet or planetoid, you've really pretty much seen them all, and in fact, Ceres might actually be Mercury now that I'm looking at it.
Yep, here comes the 4th Cavalry Stage, right on time, moving along the lonely road through Indian country, heading west. Ha! Ha! Gotta reach the Rocky Mountains by sundown. Up on top, you could be anywhere. The trail doesn't have any signposts after you leave Fort Cavalry. You could be anywhere on the Great Plains in the 1800s, when the West was really wild. Now, this may be Indian territory, and it may look like the Old West, but the time is today, and the place is Freedom Land, a big entertainment park in the Bronx, in the state of New York, just half an hour by subway from Times Square in New York City. Here, they've built the places and the buildings representing 200 years of American history. And riding shotgun across the Great Plains is only one part of the story of our country. Hey, what's happening over there in Chicago? Fire! Look at that! It's the Chicago Fire of 1871. Hurry up, men. We're going to need volunteers for this one. Everybody man the pump. We've got to get water on the fire or the whole city will go. Faster, men. Keep that pump going. Mrs. O'Leary's cow has kicked over a lantern, and the flames are spreading fast. Keep that pump going back there. It's getting out of control. This fireman doesn't look very worried. Here at Freedom Land, they have the Chicago Fire every half hour, every day. And the gas flames behind the windows of those fireproof buildings always go out on schedule. But it's lots of fun because it's make-believe. In Chicago, in 1871, they didn't have fireproof buildings, and the big fire was an important event in American history, brought to life at Freedom Land. Down on Cortlandt Street, they built little old New York, just the way it was between 1850 and 1890. In those days, horse-drawn trolleys were the latest thing for short trips in the city. If you had to go out of town, maybe as far as 5 miles, you rented a horse if you didn't have one of your own. If you planned a real long trip, 100 miles or more, you took the train. There's the Santa Fe Railroad train, getting ready for the long, dangerous journey to San Francisco. Here's another way people traveled in the 1800s, on a stern-wheel steamboat. All aboard! The paddle wheel starts turning, and away you go. Traveling along, you can get a good idea of how our country looked in the days when there were only a few roads, and the stern-wheelers and riverboats were used to carry most of the heavy freight. The bow of the boat is a good place to stand if you want to see what's coming up around the next bend. If your mother lets you stay there. There's the Santa Fe Special, heading west, just like the days when there was only one railroad line from coast to coast. On board one of the big stern-wheelers at Freedom Land, you take a trip back to the days when there were only a few cities on the east coast of our country, and most of the land west of the Mississippi was a wide-open frontier. So let's go ashore and see some of the other reminders of our past here in this showcase of American history. In the untamed Northwest, you can take a ride in one of the bull boats, traveling past a trapper's cabin back to the time of the historic Lewis and Clark expedition. You'll follow the route of the fur trappers, who were the first white men to see many parts of our country because they had to move farther and farther away from the new villages and towns to trap and hunt. Look, there's a moose looking us over. Don't move, he might charge the boat. There's an Indian carving a totem pole in a village just as it might have looked to a boatload of fur trappers as they kept pushing northwest. These Indians look friendly, but no telling what's coming up around the next bend. If you want to see more of Freedom Land, the best thing to do is go up, way up, high. Riding in an ore bucket from the Tucson Mining Company, high above the buildings and the people. From here, you can see most of Freedom Land and pick out the spots you want to visit next time. 205 acres of fun and tradition. From San Francisco in 1906 across the Great Plains of the 1800s, through the old Southwest of 1890 to the not-so-distant future at Satellite City. 200 years of American history. From the days when herds of buffalo roamed the West to the present and beyond. There are thousands of things to see, too many to look at on this trip, but all of them are fun, and all of them will help you appreciate the facts in your history books. This is history brought to life. The history of the country that gave this place its name, Freedom Land. Now it's time we got back on solid ground again, back to the Bronx in the state of New York. So long.
here is a world of communication, tailored for your needs of today and tomorrow, bringing together all people in a new era of understanding. Keeping in touch by means of the amazing new Bell Boy is the Bell System's answer today for doctors, salesmen, delivery men, or anyone who must be available at all times in the fast-paced world of Century 21. When someone calls and you are out, you can be reached by dialing your Bell Boy code number. When you get a signal on the Bell Boy, you can go to a phone to call your office or home and get the message. This is the automatic dialer. Just listen for dial tone, insert a number card, and press the start bar. The Bell System automatic dialer dials for you more quickly and easily than you can do it yourself. Numbers you call frequently can be punched on small plastic cards. Pick a city, then see how fast direct distance dialing really is. Dial the area code, then the weather report telephone number. Presto, instant weather. With DDD, most calls go through in 20 seconds or less. Here you see the Bell solar battery in action, turning light into electricity to run this display. Solar batteries are used to convert sunlight to electrical power and make our satellites talk back from outer space.
Thank you. Hi, this is the Bell System's new touch-tone dialing. With this indicator, you see how many seconds you save the new way. Let's try it. Okay, I'll race you. Ready? Go. I beat you. Welcome to our exhibit. I'm glad to have this opportunity to tell you about the telephone switching center of tomorrow. The electronic central office, which is made possible by the magic of the transistor and other tiny but amazing devices invented by the Bell Telephone Laboratories. Imagine, if you can, an electronic brain operating at millionth of a second speeds. I say brain because the new electronic central office will almost think for itself. It will not only carry out instructions you dial into it, it will also remember instructions you provided earlier. These memory features will offer many convenient services I'm sure you'll be delighted with. For one thing, you'll be able to reach frequently called numbers by dialing only 2 digits. All you'll have to do is give the telephone company a list of the numbers you dial most frequently. The electronic brain's memory will do the rest. To see how it works, please watch the screen.
Is it time to phone, Grandma?
Now, let's see. All right. Now, let's say you want to call your mother, who lives in Des Moines. You call her fairly often, so the telephone company has assigned 53 as your special number for making this call. When you dial the 5 and the 3, the electronic central office's brain says, uh-oh, something special. Searches its memory for what those 2 digits represent, and dials the area code plus the full number in Des Moines for you. Hello?
Hello, Grandma.
Ever been invited out for an evening and had to turn it down because you're expecting an extra special call? Well, the electronic central office will solve that problem for you, too. When you do go out, it will be a simple matter to have your calls transferred. All you'll have to do is dial a special code, which tells the equipment's brain you want your calls transferred, and then dial the telephone number where you can be reached. Our amazing electronic central office will take it from there. I think it's a wonderful call for you. No, you stay there. Hello?
Diane?
No, this isn't Diane. It's Linda.
Linda? What gives? This is Jim Morton. I was calling Diane Brown.
Oh, yes, she's here. She had her calls transferred to my house. Hi, Jim. And what about those times someone has tried to call you and your line is busy? We've thought of that, too.
Oh, fine, Sarah, that's fine. I'll have the information for you at the meeting next Wednesday.
When you hear the beep tone on your telephone, you know someone else is trying to reach you.
Sarah, will you hold on just a minute? Someone else is trying to reach me.
All you do is flick the switch hook to hold the first call while you take the second.
Oh, hello, dear. I was just talking to Sarah. I see. Okay, dear, but you tell Fred next time he's in town he's to bring Helen, right? Bye, dear.
You flick the button back and go on with your first call.
Hello, Sarah? That was Bert calling.
Easy as pie, isn't it? And here's another feature you're going to find handy. Now look.
Sarah, Jane knows a lot more about that than I do. Why don't we get her on the line and find out? Okay, just a minute.
Want someone else on the line? That's easy, too. Flip the switch button, then dial a code number and the number you want. And presto.
Hello, Jane? This is Martha. Listen, I have Sarah on the line, and we want to know what to do about...
As we look to the future, we see many extras for tomorrow's telephone users. One day, you may be able to call home and automatically turn off the oven. Or, from a public telephone a couple of 100 miles away, turn on your home air conditioner and have the house nice and cool when you return from your hot trip. It may even be possible to call and water the lawn during that dry spell when you are many miles away on vacation. Sounds fantastic, doesn't it? But it is all possible because of the basic research our scientists and engineers at the Bell Telephone Laboratories are doing to make your service better day by day. From their work has come breakthrough after breakthrough in science, providing the intricate devices that lie at the heart of your telephone service of tomorrow. Through the invention of better things, we are trying very hard to give you the kind of telephone service you want and need. And we think you'll agree, after seeing the many exhibits we have here, there is no end to telephone progress now or in Century 21.
You're seeing it all. As the present unfolds, what the future beholds, you're elated, fascinated. See the art shows, walk the thoroughfare, on the boulevards leading everywhere. Ride a rickshaw, dine on caviar, you can telephone a star. It's a wonderful age on a beautiful stage, demonstrated for you, been created for you. It's just a part of the thrilling start of Century 21.
Welcome back. Now we take you to the outer solar system, starting with Jupiter, the first of the gas giants. Jupiter has no noise ordinances. The local select board was very big on that. They think people should be able to make as much noise as they want because Jupiter is very big. And, you know, really don't hold back. There's a lot of space. The old maxim goes that planets with more stripes have more fun, and I'm just speaking from personal experience. Jupiter was definitely the planet that was the most fun to conquer. I had a really good time doing that, and I think you guys might enjoy yourselves there. As you can see, Jupiter has like, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say like 8 stripes. That's a good number of stripes for a planet. Get a lot of variety there. And Jupiter is bigger than shown here. that might be deceptive from the photograph, but Jupiter is over 10 times larger than this photograph of it. So, really be prepared to be impressed by the size of Jupiter. On the downside, though, its size means that there is a bit too much gravity. You weigh about just under 2.5 times there what you do on Earth. So make a plan for that. Heftier individuals might want to hang back from Jupiter. Also, speaking of health warnings, Jupiter has very strong magnetic fields, and those of you with pacemakers might want to avoid Jupiter for that reason. And also, I have to note that the Great Red Spot has been staring me down for many a year now. I have yet to blink, and so is it, so I consider it a worthy adversary, but I believe I will triumph in the end. Next up, we have Saturn, shown here. Pros, rings are okay, I guess, if you like that sort of thing. If you don't like rings, there's always the sodium carbonate deposits on Ceres. I mean, you have options. Plenty of moons. You can see a couple of them in this photograph, actually. There are just so many moons. All different shapes and sizes, plenty to choose from. And there is a polar hexagon storm at, I believe, the South Pole. There's only 2 poles. I got a 50% chance of being right, so I'm going with South Pole. I'm going to lock down that answer. There's a storm at the South Pole that is, for reasons scientists don't completely understand, hexagon-shaped. It is not a circular storm. It is just hexagonal. It's very weird. So if you like extreme weather and or hexagons, definitely check that out when you're visiting Saturn. On the other hand, rings really aren't that great. I wouldn't make a trip just for the rings, let's put it that way. And when I was laying this out, I noticed that Saturn doesn't really fit neatly into the corner of the picture where I was putting all the other planets because of the rings. And that's a little bit annoying, I'll be honest. Uranus, the 7th planet from the Sun. Uranus is an ice giant. They're like the gas giants, but they're a little bit smaller. And it is completely featureless. Even up close, it is just this, blue sphere. So that's cool if you like completely featureless things. But on the other hand, if you don't, Uranus might not be for you. And the other ice giant is Neptune, which, as you can see, is really just Jupiter for people who like blue. It's got the big storm and everything. This one did finally blink. I outstared the Great Dark Spot on Neptune. That was a good feeling. I like beating the best. Neptune has a great nightclub scene, so if you like to hang out at night, lots of places to go clubbing on Neptune. And it's really just a great place to say you've been. People really respect the cachet of visiting Neptune. On the downside, the local sports team hasn't won since 1966. The Fighting Neptunes, they are just not that good at sports. I'm not sure anybody on Neptune has really come to grips with that yet. They keep thinking every year is going to be the year. They're going to take home the trophy, and it's not coming together for them. Neptune also has the strongest winds in the solar system. So, you might not want to fly a kite or wear a hat on Neptune. Just a little advisory from me to you on that front. And Old Man Jenkins, when I conquered Neptune, told me that Neptune was haunted. And then I killed him, so if it wasn't before, it definitely is now. There are ghosts on Neptune. So if you are not a fan of the paranormal, I would steer clear of Neptune because it gets weird there after dark. And finally, we have Pluto. Pluto is just adorable. I love Pluto. If you get down on the surface, it is great for cross-country skiing. A lot of crenellations and cliffs and ice dunes. Really give your legs a workout, It's very cool. And Pluto will always be a planet to me. Any heretic who says otherwise will, of course, be consigned to Venus. The downside is that I've had to consign a lot of scientists to Venus because they keep telling me Pluto isn't a planet because I guess it hasn't cleared its lane or whatever of space debris. It's not massive enough for that. But I think what it really takes to be a planet is heart more than any of this scientific gobbledygook they keep throwing at me as I kick them out of the spacecraft down into the clouds of Venus. And, it's my word against theirs, and I have a sword with 1,000 eyes, so I'm going to stick by my guns here. Pluto is definitely a planet. It is very, very cold on Pluto. In the middle of the day, the sun is so far away that it is effectively like twilight on Earth. That's as bright as it gets down there. So you might want to bring a flashlight and warmer for the flashlight so the batteries don't freeze. And some of the ghosts may have leaked over from Neptune because Pluto's orbital path crosses Neptune's for like 20 years every cycle or something to that effect. So there may have been some ghost bleed over to Pluto. And that's all the planets and planet-like things we've got. I mean, there are a couple other odd things out there further, but those don't really have developed resort communities yet, so they're not really worth your time, and more to the point, I'm not going to pay to have you shipped there and then shipped back, so these are the ones you have to choose from.
From the deck of a giant ocean liner, visit of Manhattan Island. Along Lower Broadway, celebrities are accorded a typical New York welcome. Wall Street, a mad canyon in the heart of New York's financial district. At the far end is Old Trinity Church, one of the oldest landmarks on the island. The original church was built in 1697 and replaced by the present structure in 1846. Gravestones still stand tribute to some of the early settlers. At Wall and Nassau, on the site of the old Federal Building, is the Sub-Treasury. It was here that George Washington took oath of office as first President of the United States. At Broad and Wall is the imposing Stock Exchange, the financial pulse of America, where ticker tape measures the fluctuating fortunes of the nation. Dominating New York City Hall is the Municipal Building, an imposing modern structure. City Hall is one of the few surviving landmarks of little old New York. Spanning the East River from Lower New York to Brooklyn is Brooklyn Bridge, the oldest and most famous of the city's many bridges. The Bowery, famous in song and story, now a dingy street of cheap lodging houses and questionable eating places. On the Lower East Side, the pushcart market still survives amidst much price cutting. Nearby is Chinatown, and Mott Street is its Broadway. The surroundings are exotic. Thousands of Orientals live here in their own peculiar way. On ceremonial occasions, there is much noise and weird dancing. Here, the East meets the West and holds closely to its native customs and exhibitions. Washington Square marks the beginning of Fifth Avenue. Near the Centennial Arch is a fountain that not only serves as a thing of beauty, but as a happy relief to city youngsters on a torrid day. A short distance away is MacDougal Alley in the heart of Greenwich Village, where artists, good and indifferent, live and work. Many have street exhibits of their artistry, hoping to find a ready purchaser. The Church of the Transfiguration, lovingly known as the Little Church Around the Corner, is famous for its romantic weddings. It is a shrine to the people of the church. One of the city's colossal gateways is the Pennsylvania Station. Through it daily pass travelers from every state in the Union, a monument to the vision of a great railroad. On the site of the old Waldorf Astoria Hotel now stands the Empire State Building, the tallest structure in the world, 102 stories high. Its gigantic tower dominates the city and can be seen from nearly everywhere. Another midtown skyscraper is the Chrysler Building with its flashing silver spire. New York's famous Crossroad and one of the busiest, a smart shopping center where thousands pass daily. Autos, taxis, and buses move in an unending stream. Here stands the public library with 3.5 million volumes within its massive walls.
Its friendly pigeons never want for food. A great fountain of knowledge in a great metropolis. In the very heart of New York City stands St. Patrick's Cathedral, one of the most beautiful churches on this continent. Each year, the Easter Parade brings out much finery and startling millinery, and some unusual participants. On this occasion, motor traffic gives way to the milling paraders. Directly opposite the cathedral and towering above it is Rockefeller Center, a city within a city, 15 acres of mighty white buildings reaching to the sky. In the spring, the terraced plazas with their fountains and magnificent flowers are a thing of beauty never to be forgotten. 150,000 people pass through the portals of these buildings daily. And atop the Radio City Music Hall, rehearsals sometimes stop the work in offices nearby. From October to April, there is ice skating in the sunken plaza in the very center of this great project. Park Avenue, street of wealth, social prestige, and ultra-smart shops. Best viewed from the deck of a sightseeing steamer is one of New York's latest developments, the Franklin D. Roosevelt Drive along the East River. It runs almost the entire length of the island. When winter comes, Central Park takes on a cloak of white, reminiscent of the frozen pond back home. There is fine skating and oft-times organized winter sport contests. Springtime unfolds a garden in the city's heart, its four sides lined with stately buildings set in a tapestry of green. The obelisk, popularly known as Cleopatra's Needle, brings to Central Park a reminder of old Egypt. Here is a paradise for candid camera fans, especially at the zoo, where there is never a lack of models. The polar bears, transplanted from their frozen north, seem quite at home. Facing Central Park West is the Museum of Natural History, where mounted animals and birds of past and present are framed amid scenes typical of their natural habitats. It is one of the city's most interesting showplaces. To the west, along the Hudson River, runs the way, a thorough running the of Manhattan Island, with many buildings. Prominent among them is the tomb of Janet, which is open to the public. Harlem, land of swing and jive, where the world learns how to sing and dance. Graceful yet imposing is George Washington Bridge. Spanning the Hudson River from upper New York, it leads to the New Jersey shore and the pond. But New York is not only steel and stone, it is people too. Millions of beating hearts, lights and shadows, night and day. A strange cosmopolitan paradox. A city that never sleeps. Its spinning tempo carries on. A wonder city.
Welcome back, subjects. This concludes our selection of approved vacation locations. If you didn't see a place that agrees with you, tough. As always, I remain Nymar the Uncharitable.
You may go.